Welcome all. Here's part of the FITC conference, and we're going to be doing a talk on improving page speed and supercharging your images. So my name is Tom Dale. I'm head of the customer success team here. I enjoy coding with Nuxt, though I am going to show a tutorial in like more vanilla JavaScript. So, but if you are sad that it's not Nuxt, I promise you I have a similar one hidden in my pocket, so I can send you like a repo for it. I do like focusing on web performance and headless solutions specifically. And I do brew beer at home and have two little ones running around. So Google's come out with a new thing called Core Web Vitals. And we're going to dive into a couple of the areas from there and focus on the idea of how we can improve it from the image perspective. So just to briefly go over Core Web Vitals, there's three of them: largest contentful paint, first input delay, and cumulative layout shift. So largest contentful paint, you can think of typically that hero image, that top thing, the largest, heaviest thing on the page, right? It's typically above the fold. So it's often that big hero image up there. So, when trying to improve that score, you think about, I guess, what I would think is typical things to do to images. But I mean, good things to do to images are what format is it in, like using next-gen image formats, like that could be WebP, and AVIF is also a new one. Also, you want to properly encode those. So you should use some kind of image service that would be good at optimizing the images or doing some kind of compression or something. You don't want to serve them just like raw out of your CloudFront bucket or something. And you would obviously want to size them right. So that covers largest contentful paint. I'm going to show just a little bit about cumulative layout shift as well. And then really, I'm just going to show you a bad website I made and show you how bad its scores are and go through how to see what the scores are and how to improve them. So cumulative layout shift, this is this idea that you're, on BART to whatever the thing is called that you're on, right? You're going somewhere and the internet isn't as fast, right? So everything you see on the site is extra worse. One of the extra worse things is when you open an article and start trying to click around, but all of a sudden an ad loads in, or the text bumps up, or the image bumps up, something shifts the whole content. So whatever you were seeing is gone, right? So Google measures that as a point of what percent of the content shifted. And it's a bad experience. So they are scoring heavily on that idea of those big shifting sites. So I'm also going to touch on the idea of what to do to improve that. Just adding the actual width and height attributes to an image is helpful. Doing like lazy loading or LKIP or some kind of process to not load unnecessary things is also good. And again, I'm just going to go over in the tutorial actual examples of how to do it. So let's get away from this deck here. And so essentially, I'm going to start with a site like this. I coded it as a bad site, which was kind of fun to code a bad site, right? But I mean, we have clearly a hero image here and a gallery of images going down here, right? I say bad site because when I run it on PageSpeed, we're getting like a 55 on desktop, 40 on mobile. It's not a good score, right? And you can see that I specifically, again, right, made sure that we had bad layout shift scores, bad largest contentful paint scores. And as you go down further, you can kind of see the opportunities it's identifying. And, this site is really only images, right? There's not any text. So the things that are wrong are the size of the images, the next-gen format, like I mentioned, and the encoding. So if we just go back to the site, like if I refresh it, you can see how slow everything is loading, right? And everything just shifted down. So that's why we're getting those bad scores. So let's just kind of look at the code and actually show you maybe what I would do to start improving those items. I think I'm going to first start with the idea of properly sizing. It's the first thing listed here. So let me go ahead and here we go. So this is just a plain vanilla JavaScript site, right? I've got a head up here. I've got my hero image is right here. And then down here is just a block of images that makes up the gallery, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in so we can see better. All right. So these are just imgix URLs, they not doing anything, just serving straight out of my S3. So the first thing I want to do is adjust the resizing. So the way imgix works is you can actually just take an image here, and at the end you could add something, right? And it's going to resize it. But I don't want to do that to everything just manually. That's going to take a while, right? So instead, I'm going to use an SDK JavaScript, and it's called imgix.js. And the idea is that it's going to build out my source sets to make these not only have the correct sizing, but also make them like responsive for mobile design, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of cut a corner here and add it as a script down here. And don't worry, we'll give you a link to the GitHub for all of this. But I'm just going to I have a link on a CDN.js for imgix.js here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it in here. There we go. So I've linked to the imgix.js. And now in order to make this affect the images, I need to essentially, instead of doing source equals, I would just do ix dash source, and that'll generate everything. So let me go ahead and replace the source, or maybe I'll replace image source, and then replace that with image ix source. So 26 times, I have 25 images plus my hero, so that should be okay. So let's do that, and this is live, so let's see if we break things, right? So it's still slow, right? That's fine. So let me show you just what I at least did so far. So now, instead of just having a source, you can see the imgix.js actually generated all these different little resized sizes here. And this looks crazy, but it's not heavy on the site. This amount of HTML, it's not the end of the world. And it's only loading one of them, right? It's loading the one that's being chosen for the browser. But in order to choose the right one for the browser, I actually need to add a sizes element, right? So to add a sizes element, I just kind of think, what size are these images, and kind of match my CSS design. I'm essentially making it, 33%, right? Or a third, minus these little pads here. And then I have padding on the side, right? And then at a certain point, it becomes too wide, right at 1024. Okay, so at 1024, it shifts the 2 wide. So I'm going to go ahead and code that in there in the sizes. So let me just put it right here in front of the class. So I'm going to do sizes equals. So I said at 1024, it shifts, right? So min width 1024 pixels. So essentially, anything larger than 1024, what should I do? What I want to do is say, hey, serve roughly a third, but then get rid of the little spaces I have on the side, the margins, and they're 3 EM on each side. So I'm roughly serving a third minus those margins for anything bigger than 1024. And then anything smaller than 1024, which we saw my site shifted, right? I'm just going to serve, I don't know, 40 VW. That's roughly half. I know there's like a little gap on the side, but it's fine. We'll be fine. So I'm going to change it all in here. And I'm going to not do this on the hero image because the hero image is going to be a little different, but that's okay. Oh, did I put something funny right here, an equals. Let me fix that. Okay, what did I do wrong? Oh, I know what I did wrong. I'm changing the class, which is not good, right? Class equals block. Easy. Okay, good. I want to go down these bottom 25. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it's just working down here. I messed it up again. One last time. I need a closing quote. This is what happens when you do live stuff, right? It's okay. There we go. Things. Remember, I looked up that class. I got to put it back in here. Class equals block. Lazy. Here we go. Okay, I think I'm okay. Let's check the site, see if I broke everything. Okay, I didn't break it all. Now when I'm opening this image in the next tab, we've got a good size, a much smaller size, right? So the size is choosing what it was. So I'm gonna even let's just push this up to Netlify and literally run it in PageSpeed and see how it already has increased the score with that sizing, right? So I'm just cheating and doing the Netlify drop, right? So I'm just literally gonna drag the folder in there. It'll deploy in 1 second. Here we go. All right, let's run out of PageSpeed and see how it changed. So we had a 55 on desktop. We had like 54 seconds on properly sizing. Let's see if we can make it better here while it runs. And once we start knocking these out on the bottom, then we're going to start diving into, okay, what's the largest contentful paint? What's the CLS? And get those smaller too, right? All right, so we're already up to 80 just by improving that. So it got rid of the efficient encoding. It got rid of the resizing. So all we have now is this next gen format, right? Next gen format meaning when you're in Chrome, because Google PageSpeed Insights is a Chrome tool, right? So when you're in Chrome, they want you to serve a better format, WebP or AVIF. So if you use imgix, you can actually just put auto equals format at the end, and that will change it to AVIF and Chrome and WebP and Safari and all kinds of things like that. So let's do that. So at the end of the JPEG, I'm going to put JPEG question auto equals format, even compress. We'll just do some fun stuff. One other thing just quickly in my mind is I want to make all these squares. I don't like that they're not squares. So let me do that with imgix as well real quick. So I can do fit equals crop intelligently to faces. And if there's no faces, go to like edges, and AR equals 1, 1. So make it aspect ratio 1, 1, right? Let's, this should work. This all worked. I'm going to pull it away again from the hero because it's not quite the right aspect ratio, but that's okay. We have the other ones. So let's see how it affects this page here. Now they're all squares. That's good. Hey, do you think that's gonna, and we changed the next gen format, right? So let's, again, just so quickly push that back here, see if we can improve the score from 80. All right. I like using this Netlify drop just because it's just so quick for the vanilla JS just to get something pushed on a site. All right, let's run it again. We were at 80 and it had something listed for next gen formats. We should see both of those go away. And then I think we're going to address the largest contentful paint score real quick. Here we go. We're up to 84 now. And lo and behold, the next gen format thing's gone. Actually the largest content, that actually brought this largest contentful paint score out of the yellow to the green. So again, I think we're okay there. But I think realistically, maybe I should put some of the smart stuff just on this one as well. So let me take this and maybe make it a different aspect ratio, right? Like let's make it wider. So 3 wide, 1 tall. And if I'm choosing aspect ratio, I can now make this auto, this height, I think. Let's see how we go. Okay, this is fine. This looks a little better, I think. Yeah, because this was looking stretched and funny. Now this is a little better here. It's all right. I'll push that quick again, and then let's do the cumulative layout shift because I saw that was a bad score. So we want to now address that one, right? Whoops, that's what we're going to get to 100, I promise. Okay, so right now we've got this bad score here now, right? And if you want to figure out, oh yeah, just a quick tip. If you want to just double check what the largest contentful paint is, you can always open this and it'll show it right here. but we knew it was the hero image, right? And same thing for the layout shift. You can click it here and it's going to start telling you what it's upset about. It doesn't like the body is shifting. It doesn't like that these images are shifting around, and it just goes through showing all of them, right? So, and I can see right now it's upset about not having an explicit width and height. So these are all things we can adjust. So let's start with that explicit width and height. That'll be easy. So what does that mean, explicit width and height? So Chrome and they would really like it if you let them know ahead of time what size you thought the space would be taking up for the image. You know, people use the aspect ratios in CSS a lot to do that for design, which is fine, but they still want you to put that width and height. Even if it's not the right width and height, because it is a responsive aspect ratio, right? So it'll constantly change around. They at least want you to put a width and height that matches, you know, at least the expected dimensions of the image. So if I don't actually know how wide the image is because it's responsive, but I do know it's going to be 1 by 1, I could just write width equals 400, height equals 400. That would be sufficient, I think. So let's do that real quick and see if we can improve that little score we saw there. So I'm going to find this, replace it with width equals 400, height equals 400, and we'll see if this improves the CLS score as well, right? It's going to do this 25 times. That's good. I think I actually also want to do a loading equals lazy on some of these. So that way, maybe the bottom ones will be lazy loaded. And when I say bottom ones, I kind of mean not these four, right? Maybe not even these because I can see them, the ones below that. So because the top ones I want to show, the other ones I want to not load in, right? So let's actually think about putting in loading equals lazy over here too. So let me do that real quick. And why not even put an alt text to be good? Artsy image FITC, why not? And loading equals lazy. Okay, so 25 times, but unfortunately I just don't want it on these top ones. So let's just delete these 6. And then let's see if we broke the site or if it's better or not, who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So we haven't broke anything, but I can already see, you see that little, this stuff that came up there? I don't like that. That's not going to be okay. That's going to be upset for the hero shift, right? That's like it's showing the images that I was placeholding, but it was definitely like shifting and not looking good. But let's go ahead and just throw it in and just see what it looks like for practicality's sake. All right, so remember, we're going to now look for this to go away. I mean, sorry, this to go away. And maybe this number will go down. Maybe it'll go up with that. It might get worse with what I just did. So let's just check. Come on, come on. Okay, we're at 86. We went up 2 more points. I don't think this got better. And why didn't this go away? Up for my hero, it wants me to do it in the hero. Okay, sorry about that. So the hero isn't 1 by 1, right? It's 3 by 1. So again, I need to kind of match that idea, right? So let's put width 1200, height 400. That should work. Didn't break anything. And the last thing I want to do, also already know, is fix that jump we're seeing, right? And you can see it's upset about whatever this div class is and this body. So I think I know how to fix that. Let me rerun this, and the fix for that body is actually something called flash of unstyled content. So I'm cheating with my CSS and using like a fast light version of Tailwind. It's called Twind, but to prevent this flash of unstyled content, I should actually write hidden in the HTML. So let's do that. Let's see if we can. It's true. All right, let's see if that flash of stuff is, yep, there you go. See, now I don't see those weird boxes and squares. So I think that's gonna make me happy. Let's see. Okay, desktop score went up again to 87. We still got a little bit lower shift, no longer have the image width item. The last landing thing on the layout shift is that body. So I think we're gonna get rid of this 0.455 because I put the hidden. And I don't know if he's in here or not, but I had a friend actually show me that earlier named Greg. So thanks, Greg. All right, we are loading this. We're good. Shift is gone. Let's see if we get the shift down to 0 and maybe 100 score. That'd be nice. $92 mobile, 100 desktop. I did it. We got a 0. Nothing going on down here. Happy days. All right, so let me kind of just finish this off here. So I showed you to use imgix, but I hope a lot of those practices, they're not necessarily specific to imgix. Imgix just made correcting them like a lot easier. Especially using that imgix.js. But so I figured I would A, tell you what and why imgix, and then B, also just confirm the idea that a lot of those practice I was showing, you can still definitely do without imgix, okay? So why imgix? It's a end-to-end solution. So it's not, you're literally taking your S3 bucket and you're creating a management platform to easily find those images and search them and get them really quickly. And then those images then are then turned into a URL, which you can just add an SDK to and automatically render them all into the right size really quickly. They get optimized, they get delivered via Fastly all over the world, makes things really simple, okay? So imgix does have a free account. If you want to learn more about imgix, I would suggest going to YouTube. Maybe this video probably will be on there soon. You know, definitely read the docs, follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/letsgoheadless. Thanks so much for attending the talk, and we look forward to answering any of your comments or questions.